welcome to Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. Welcome to the South Boston racetrack in Virginia, where we are getting ready to start qualifying and the race for the sixth round of the Crooked Line Racing Monday Night Madness in the Super Late Models. You are currently looking at one of the new drivers that we are welcoming here tonight. The field is not that big tonight. It looks like we have 10 drivers registered for the race. We are in the final moments of practice, and this is Tommy Dunn, a new driver that has joined the series. We wish him well, and we hope he enjoys himself running with the Crooked Line Racing drivers here on the Monday nights in the Super Late Models. The South Boston, Virginia Raceway will give you some information on the track here. It is a 0.4 mile oval track, not even half a mile. It is a fairly wide track, and it allows for pretty good double file racing, especially once the track gets rubbered in. Although I will say that for the super late models, those cars are a little bit fast for this track, and it is not easy to get a good run on somebody with these short straightaways. Well, we'll see how that pans out here tonight, obviously. The ambient temperature here in the evening is 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 63% relative humidity, partly cloudy skies, and no winds to speak of. We have a track temperature of 82 degrees, which is not too bad for these guys. It means that the track is not too slippery and not too greasy, so they should have pretty good grip here. So as you can see on the left side of your screen, it is Tyler Johnson that has been running the quickest lap time in here in practice. He should still be out there in the number 5 car. There he is. We also have Jason Tarasenko still on the track in the number 21 car. And speaking of Tarasenko, we are kind of missing Dustin Mumberget. And let's take a quick look before we go into qualifying on the point standings. Mumberget and Tarasenko missed the last race, and that brought Joshua Sexton into the points lead there with 195 points, closely followed by Tyler Johnson. Tyler, as we said, is fastest in practice here, so he might be onto something. Scotty Stevens is third with 176. Then it's Dustin Mumberget with 170, 2 wins to his name. Jason Tarasenko, 2 wins to his name, 169, only 1 point behind Mumberget. Then it's Tanner Marr, Brandon Mettler, Russell Brown, Mark Young, and Lauren Arfman are rounding out your points top 10. So the championship after 5 races is wide open again. Sexton and Johnson and Stevens have surpassed Mumberget and Tarasenko, who were leading and kind of swapping between each other for the wins. They have 2 each. The 5th race was won by Sexton, and it brought the championship back open once again. So that is good news for the series. Obviously, good news for the guys that have scored those points. So let's look a little further as we are going into qualifying and somebody's trying to blow up an engine. As we're going into qualifying, folks, we are looking at 2 laps qualifying on individual basis. That means that the drivers cannot see each other on the track, but they will be on there alone. They have 2 laps to set a good lap time, and that will decide the grid positions. So for the race, we are looking at 125 laps here on South Boston Speedway. The drivers have 2 tire sets to make it all work and get to the end, and they will have 1 fast repair, meaning that if they get into trouble and they bend up the car, they get an instant new car. The only things that are not included in that fast instant repair are the tire change and the fuel, obviously. And if the car is on the track and unable to run, the driver can hit the escape button. It'll be towed to the pit, and obviously iRacing will calculate some time for that tow. So currently we see Scotty Stevens posting the quickest lap time there with a 15:09.3. And it looked like only his second lap counted. That means he scrubbed the wall on his first one. Not so for Kevin Roy, who is running second at the moment. We also have Garrett Grau out there and Tanner Marr, Jason Tarasenko. Oh, it looks like Kevin messes up his final lap there, and he's going to have to do with that 15.2. Garrett Crow is on the track, has not yet posted a time, and we also see Jason Tarasenko in his familiar 21 car, with Tanner Marr in his number 4 car is also out there, and we are awaiting their lap times. And it looks like Scotty Stevens has posted a time. Let's give you those times on the top left there. And Tanner Marr currently pushing himself into the second position with a 14.917, a slight improvement on his second lap. There we have Tommy Dunn, who is trying to warm up his tires there a little bit and now getting ready to start his qualifying attempt. Jason Tarasenko, meanwhile, has brought it to the pole position, as you can see, with a 14.664. So let's see what our newcomer friend here, Tommy Dunn, can do. And let's see if he has posted that time yet. Yes, he has. It is a 14.888, and that is currently pushing himself into the third position, with Brandon Mettler also going well here. He's in second position. And it looks like Tommy Dunn improved his time there by just 2 thousandths of a second, and he has pushed himself with that in the second position. Tyler Johnson in the number 5 car, still out on track here, trying to get a qualifying run in. Joshua Sexton in the number 51 car, also still on the track. It looks like Sexton is bringing himself into fourth position there with a 14.885, and as you can tell, lap times are extremely close on these short tracks. He now pushes himself into the second position, and let's see, we have Tyler Johnson now actually pushing Sexton down to third position. Tyler Johnson in second. Ooh, and he bounces into the wall there. That is going to disqualify his second lap. One final driver that we have not seen on track yet is Russell Brown Jr. in the 00 car. He is now getting ready as the final qualifier, getting ready to post a time, and let's see what he can do. We have 10 drivers getting ready here. Russell is the 10th driver that is getting ready to qualify. His first lap was not allowed, as he must have touched the wall somewhere. And his second lap was a 14.677, and that pushes him into the second position, and that is a pretty good qualifying, folks. There you have it. The times are on the left side of your screen. The qualifying is almost over. We have about 20 seconds to go in qualifying. So once again, folks, we're getting ready to race here. 125 laps around this not even half a mile long South Boston Speedway in Virginia, and we're looking, we always see some good racing in the Crooked Line Racing Series. The field may not be that big, and we started out a little bit with a little bit bigger group, and not everybody obviously can be here all the time. So obviously we're still working on expanding this series. So if you're interested in super late model racing, find us on Facebook, Crooked Line Racing, the Monday Madness series. There's your grid, folks, for round number 6. Jason Tarasenko has put it on the pole position, our Canadian friend. It is Russell Brown in the second position alongside him, and then on the second row it's going to be Tyler Johnson and Joshua Sexton. On the third row we're going to have newcomer Tommy Dunn and Brandon Mettler. Then on the fourth row we're going to see Tanner Marr, and Scotty Stevens. And let's see, on the fifth and final row, we're going to see Garrett Crow and Kevin Roy, another Canadian driver. It's three Canadian drivers on the field here: Tarasenko, Dunn, and Kevin Roy. So the Canadians are well represented in this series, and they have been doing a very good job as since they got here. Both Mumberget and Tarasenko have won two races. They're both Canadians, and as said, we're missing Mumberget here. Not sure what the deal is, but we hope to see him back next time. So awaiting our start of the race here, getting ready to get going behind the pace car. As you can see, the field is not quite complete yet. We're waiting on Tyler Johnson, Brandon Mettler, and Scotty Stevens. Hope they will join us here quickly. They have about 2 minutes to get on once the grid is opened up. And now we have them all. It looks like we have them all. That is good. And as you can hear, the guys are anxious to get going. Pace car is rolling, folks. We're getting ready here in South Boston for the 6th round of the Crooked Line Racing Monday Night Madness Series in the super late models. It is Jason Tarasenko on the pole position with Russell Brown alongside him in the 00 car there, and it's Sexton and Johnson behind. We're going to do 2 warm-up laps on short track like this. And then we'll get ready to go for the 125 laps to settle this thing here. Round number 6, as said. As said, they have 2 sets of tires to play with, so we don't expect them in the pits anytime soon. There we go. We are racing, and Jason Tarasenko has a blistering start there, pulling a couple of car lengths on the rest of the field, bringing Tyler Johnson along with him there on the inside, and leaving Russell Brown. Ooh, we got the 51 going sideways there. No yellow flag because the field is not being obstructed, so Joshua Sexton having a little bit of trouble there. Let's go and see quickly what happened to him. Oh, he gets underneath that yellow line, and that kind of makes the back end get loose, and he oversteers and turns it around. So that is kind of an unforced error there for Joshua Sexton. It is Jason Tarasenko that is leading the pack by 1 second already. Tyler Johnson second behind already, and Tyler Johnson is being put under pressure by Russell Brown in the 00 car. Tommy Dunn, our newcomer, in 4th position. Tanner Marr in 5th. Scotty Stevens in 6th. Brandon Mettler is right behind him with Garrett Crow and Kevin Roy. And let's see where Sexton is. Sexton is 6 seconds behind Kevin Roy, so he's going to have to make up for lost time here. And that is going to hurt him, obviously. Jason Tarasenko, your leader. Tyler Johnson, about 1.4 seconds now. It looks like Tarasenko has got this whole thing under control right now. There you see the gaps and the difference from the distance. Tyler Johnson in that number 5 car, a familiar sight in the series. I believe he's been here every race so far, and he's scored some good points. Currently second in the championship. And, ooh, he runs a little bit wide there. Tyler Johnson gets to his inside and picks up 2nd position. And look out for Tommy Dunn, the white and light blue car there. Tommy Dunn is right behind the number 5, also pushing hard. And once again, folks, you can try to be fast out of the gates and go as fast as you can, but you're going to have to work with that rubber. Ooh, we see Tanner Marr going a little bit wide there. Let's bring that back for you. Tanner Mars seems to get off the groove there, off the racing line, into the marbles, and I don't believe he hit the wall, but you're going to have to be a little bit careful. Tyler Johnson is holding off Tommy Dunn. It is all about tire management for these guys. They only get 2 sets of tires, and that should be plenty. We've had plenty of races already so far where the 2 tires were definitely enough. So they should be okay with that. We've seen several drivers. We've seen several drivers that have run races on 1 set of tires, so it is absolutely possible. And Tarasenko pulling over 2 seconds, over 2.5 seconds away already. There you see the difference. Russell Brown kind of by himself trying to gain on Tarasenko there. Tyler Johnson about a second behind Russell Brown now, and Tommy Dunn is hanging on with him pretty good. He's less than half a second behind the number 5. The number 63, new driver in the series, and looking pretty strong already. Tanner Marr in the 5th position. We saw him go wide there a little bit earlier, but he's hanging on now, and he's doing pretty good. Running good lap times, actually. He is a little bit quicker than Tommy Dunn at the moment. Scotty Stevens in the number 2 car, 3rd in the championship currently, running 6th with Garrett Crow behind him. Garrett is starting to get a little racy here. Keep an eye on this guy here for a little bit. It looks like Garrett is getting ready to put the number 2 under pressure. Garrett going very low by that yellow line. Some of them actually like that. And there he comes alongside the number 2. It looks like he is going to make that pass. Well, the high side always gives you a little bit better run off the turn. As you can see here, the number 2 doesn't give it away that easy. And they're still side by side fighting for that position. And it looks like Garrett is on the better hand here, running the inside. And it looks like 2 had to lift there. Garrett picks up 6th position. And it looks like Scotty Stevens is going to have to be a little bit careful because the 015 of Brandon Mettler is also coming in. And let's go and check on Joshua Sexton. He has brought down that deficit on Kevin Roy that was 6 seconds after he spun. He has brought that down to 1.5 seconds. So he's doing a pretty good job here. Moving on forward, he is definitely quicker than the cars in front of him by about, I would say 0.4 of a second per lap, so he is gaining. We'll have to keep an eye on him as well. Scotty Stevens once again, now coming under pressure from Brandon Mettler. And up at the front, it is still Tarasenko with an over 3 second lead on Russell Brown Jr., Tyler Johnson in 3rd, Tommy Dunn in 4th, Tanner Marr in 5th. And it looks like Mettler is really moving on Scotty here. He is definitely trying hard to get that nose underneath that number 2 car, running the tight line. But as you can see, the straights are extremely short, and it is not easy to get a good run to get your car alongside. You kind of have to make it happen if the guy in front of you runs a little wide, like the number 2 was doing here. But then you have to be careful that he's not sliding with a loose back end. He may come down unexpectedly. Brandon Mettler doing a good job here in the 015. Let's ride along with him for a little bit. And distance about the same, not getting much advantage off the turns here. And as said, it's still early in the race. The guys are going to have to mind their tires. Ooh, it looks like the 2 is running a little bit wide there, a little bit wiggly. Not enough for Brandon to take advantage of that. So Joshua Sexton has in fact caught up and passed Kevin Roy. Kevin Roy in the 89 has now been pushed back to the 10th position, and Sexton is running, let's say about 3 to 4 tenths of a second quicker than the guys in front of him and behind him. So Joshua is definitely trying to make up some time here after that early spin in the first lap. That was a little unfortunate, and once again you have to be careful with that yellow line when you get off the banking onto the apron. That is a good place where you can get your car loose unexpectedly and turn it around. We saw Joshua do that in the beginning of the race. Tarasenko now working his way around lap traffic already. He's already passed Sexton, Mettler, and Stevens. And he is currently 3.5 seconds ahead of Russell Brown. Russell running by himself, and he has got about 4.3 seconds on Tyler Johnson in third position. Tyler still having Tommy Dunn right behind him. These guys are battling for third and fourth position. Tommy Dunn, the new driver in the 63 car. Then it's Tanner Marr in the number 4 car. He's in fifth. Garrett Crowe, we saw him pass Scotty Stevens. We missed the pass for Mettler on Stevens. Let's bring that back. See if we can get that. There you have it. It looks like the number 2 is making way for the leader, and Brandon Mettler can take advantage of that and come along with Tarasenko on that inside, and he takes away the position from Scotty Stevens. And Joshua Sexton now has also passed Scotty Stevens. Mettler now in 7th, Sexton in 8th, Scotty in 9th, and they are about 2 seconds behind Garrett Crowe. It looks like Tyler Johnson and Tommy Dunn are heating things up a little bit. They are obviously also working traffic, and that might work to the advantage of the 63 driver, Tommy Dunn. And Joshua Sexton closing in on the 015 here and actually pushing right in on the inside there. And he makes it look pretty easy there. And the 00, that is Russell Brown in 2nd position, also working to get around Mettler there, putting him a lap down. Tarasenko still in the lead, 4.1 seconds now on Russell Brown. Obviously, the traffic is going to hurt him a little bit as far as lap times is concerned, although they're still doing pretty good, staying under the 16-second mark. Tyler Johnson in the 3rd position, still having Tommy Dunn behind him. There you see him in the white number 63 coming on to us. And as you can hear from the engine sounds, there's not a long time that they can have that foot down on the bottom. It's just a short. Ooh, there we see Tommy Dunn coming really close there. It's just a short spurt of power that they have coming off the turns, and you have to be a little careful not to hit that gas too hard when you're still coming off the turn, because you will be able to turn that thing around. So you have to be pretty gentle. And we see Kevin Roy in the 10th position. He is making way for the faster drivers. That's good sportsmanship. It doesn't help him very much, but that's just the way it is, I guess. Tarasenko has already put Roy on 2 laps down now, and he's working on the number 4 car. That is Tanner Marr. So currently only 4 drivers on the lead lap. Tarasenko, Brown, Johnson, and Dunn. Tommy Dunn still behind Tyler Johnson there. It looks like he's backed off a little bit and taking his time to work his way around traffic. and trying to avoid mistakes, obviously. Coming around Scotty Stevens here. We are on lap number 50 of 125, so we're getting fairly close to the mid-race point already. No yellows yet. Tommy Dunn doing a very nice job here in his first outing at the Monday Night Madness Series. And once again, folks, if you're into this kind of stuff and you're racing these, you like racing these super late model cars, then find the Crooked Line Racing on Facebook and see if you can join in. Good fun. These guys are good racers. They race clean. Obviously, we have our incidents every now and again, but nothing dirty, nothing intentional. This is all good fun racing, and people respect each other, and that's the way we like to see this kind of racing. Scotty Stevens is the first one dropping off to pit road. He has obviously had enough of those tires. Tanner Marr is following his example. So we may be looking at some more green flag pit stops, and that's going to throw them down even further. But they're hoping to gain speed on fresh rubber, obviously. Tarasenko still in the lead, almost 5 seconds now on Russell Brown, and on a 15-second lap, that's about the third of a lap. Tyler Johnson hanging on to third position, and it looks like he's gained a little bit on Tommy Dunn. Or rather, Tommy Dunn lost a little bit of ground on Johnson. Joshua Sexton in fifth. He is a lap down from the leader, but he's worked his way forward pretty good. Garrett Crowe is in sixth position with Brandon Mettler close behind. Then it's Kevin Roy. And obviously Scotty Stevens a little bit further back now. He has been in the pits on lap 52, and Tanner Marr has been on pit road as well, running in ninth position now. Obviously, when the others are going to pit, that's going to help. Then that's going to bring back a little bit of that. Although, if they get a yellow and they get to pit under yellow, then then they're gonna really be on the short end of the stick here. All right, let's take a look at Brandon Mettler. He looks like he's working hard on that number 38 there. Garrett Crowe, nice livery. This is really the only battle on the track that we have going on, although, yeah, Tommy Dunn is about a second behind Tyler Johnson, so this is really the closest thing we have going on. The number 5 of Tyler Johnson is about to put a lap on him, as you can see him coming up there in the background. Brandon Mettler in the 015. Always a good contestant and a strong runner in these races. And it looks like he is moving out and giving up his ambitions there to let the number 5 by, and I'm sure Garrett will do the same thing. And that'll bring them back together. Obviously, when you're a Beck marker, that is a little bit hurtful sometimes. Especially because it's not just one car that's wanting the better of you. We have Tommy Dunn showing up there as well, knocking on the door. He is taking the outside. He's in a little bit bigger hurry than Tyler Johnson. Tarasenko already coming down there as well. And you can see that Scotty Stevens, although he is running in 10th position, he is definitely a lot quicker on his new tires, and he is passing cars left and right. And the same is true for the number 4, Tanner Marr. He's also doing very good on these fresh tires. To give you an idea, Marr and Stevens are running 15.2 and 15.6. And the guys that they're going by right now are about a second slower per lap, and on a 0.4 mile of a lap, that is quite a bit, obviously. It's getting busy here. Tarasenko right behind all these guys, looking for an opening to get through. Ooh, 3 wide. Garrett Crow giving him some room. Tommy Dunn there now getting ready to be lapped. There you have it. Tarasenko is going to put a lap on Tommy Dunn. That means there's only 3 cars left on the lead lap, and that won't be that way that long either, because Tyler Johnson's next. Tommy has decided that maybe it is a good time to get some fresh rubber. Lap 72, he is coming in and getting some tires. Let's see if he takes all of them. That's the right side they're working on right now. And yes, he's indeed taken all of them. Tarasenko now going after Tyler Johnson and ready to lap him. There you have a good view of your leader. That is Jason Tarasenko in the number 21 car. There he goes on the inside, putting a lap on Tyler Johnson. Russell Brown now the only other driver on the lead lap, and Russell Brown is only about 4 seconds behind Tarasenko, so Brown is actually the only one that's remotely keeping up that pace. And obviously he's going through heavy traffic here as well. And he's going through there pretty easy. Right behind Crow now. Garrett giving him the room as well. These guys are very disciplined when it comes to dealing with the faster cars. I've seen that in all of the races so far. They're doing a great job giving each other room and not obstructing the leaders. So good job there for Garrett Crow as well. Russell Brown in second position. That is the 015, the dark car that is running a little bit wider on the entry there. And this is the view ahead. Clear track for the moment. Going into lap 80. Russell Brown, clear track. Let's take a look at how hard he's working in that automobile. And once again, folks, it's just a little spurt on the gas, and then it's already off the throttle for the next turn. Fun track to drive, South Boston. There's enough room to race. It's just not very long, but a lot of the drivers like it. Generally referred to as Sobo in Virginia. Let's go check on your leader, Jason Tarasenko. Still running lap times under 16 seconds, and that is similar to the guys that have gotten new tires. 15.6, and Scotty Stevens, who has pitted on lap 52, is running similar lap times there. So Jason Tarasenko is really very capable of babying and nursing that car without asking too much of it and still being fast. Although it does look like Tommy Dunn is getting ready to unlap himself there for one lap at least. There you have it, and Tarasenko is not fighting him on it. He's giving him the room. Tommy is currently running in the 8th position. So once again, we have Russell Brown still on the lead lap by 5.5 seconds. Then Tyler Johnson still in third. Joshua Sexton in 4th, Garrett Crowe in 5th, and Brandon Mettler in 6th. And these are the guys that have not pitted yet. And the same is true for Kevin Roy in 9th position. Only Tanner Marr, Tommy Dunn, and Scotty Stevens are on fresh rubber. And if we look at their lap times, Tommy Dunn is a little bit quicker than Tarasenko. Tanner Marr is not. And Scotty Stevens is not either. So those newer tires are really not making that much of a huge difference after a little bit. Of course, they already got, close to 40 laps on them. But the other guys that haven't pitted have 90 laps on these tires, and they're doing just as well. And as you can see here, Tarasenko's putting another lap on the number 2 with tires that are twice the age of the number 2. So that is definitely a difference in driving style, I believe, that is setting these guys apart a little bit here. Tarasenko is very capable of not overdoing it and still being quick. Scotty Stevens in 9th position. As you can see on the right front, there's a little bit of damage on that car, so he must have hit somebody or scraped the wall there at some point. Russell Brown, 5.5 seconds now. The gap is getting a little bit bigger, but he's still doing pretty good. Also staying under that 16-second mark. He's about a tenth of a second per lap slower than Tarasenko, so Tarasenko is slowly but surely pulling away from him. Tyler Johnson in 3rd, almost getting ready to be lapped again. I apologize. That is Tyler Johnson. Yeah, he's in 3rd. He's in 3rd. I had that right. A little thrown off there for a moment. Joshua Sexton in 4th. He has also not been in the pits, and after his little spin on the first lap, he's definitely worked his way forward. If we look at his lap times, he is running 16-second laps. Of course, he is in traffic, so that might slow him down a little bit. Garrett Crowe giving him plenty of room at the cost of scraping the wall even. So Joshua Sexton, even though he's not one of the quickest on the track right now, he is good in track position just by staying out there and keeping going after that little mishap on the opening stages of the race. Let's go check on Brandon Mettler. He is fairly close behind the number 4 of Tanner Marr. That is for 6th and 7th position, and Tanner Marr has actually been in the pits, and Brandon has not. And they look fairly equal here. Brandon actually being a little bit quicker, it looks like, than Tanner Marr. Well, now not anymore on this lap. I'm sure traffic has something to do with that. Brandon has Joshua Sexton behind him. That is not for position, obviously. Already on lap 102. And I am not 100% sure about the fuel situation, but I think they should be able to make it on fuel, and they might have the need for a splash maybe, but it won't be much. Tarasenko once again doing a pretty good job here. Very consistent lap times. And as said, we have been green all the way so far. It's going to make for a fairly quick race, I would say. Laps are ticking away pretty quickly. Russell Brown still hanging on that lead lap. He's almost 7 seconds behind Tarasenko now. That's about a half a lap. ride along here with Russell for just a moment. Clear track in front of him. And it looks like he is closing in on the 015 there of Brandon Mettler. Brandon currently running in the 7th position and not able to stick with Tanner Marr here in the number 4 car. He is running 6th. No direct battles going on the track right now, so let's go and check on Jason Tarasenko, who went well underneath that yellow line there. He is passing Kevin Roy. Kevin in 10th position, now 5 laps down from the leader. We are speaking lap 112. As you can see, on turn 3 and 4, Jason likes to go down below that yellow line, and he does it here too. He does it everywhere, really. Let's go check on Joshua Sexton here. Still running very strong lap times as well, 15.8, and running in 4th position. As said, worked his way through the field there. Little mishap on the opening lap and back at it again. 4th position. That is a pretty good result considering there has not been a yellow. He has really done this all by himself. He is 2 laps down from Tarasenko, but you know, you'll take the track position if you can that way. Tommy Dunn still in 5th. The number 63 here, and he's on the same lap as Sexton, and he is about 7 seconds behind Joshua. And let's keep an eye on those lap times for you, because it does appear to me that Tommy is a little bit quicker than Joshua at the moment. And we see Jason. Ooh, no, Jason. It looked for a moment like he was going to pit lane, but he's cutting that track there in these turns, so the computer, the system that picks that up was a little bit taken by surprise there. He is still out there. It is Garrett Crow that is actually going down pit road. From 8th position, he is going in and getting some fresh tires. Or is he? He's taking the outsides for sure. Outsides only, and back on his way. Careful not to speed, and there you go. He's back on track. Now in 10th position. About 4 seconds behind Kevin Roy. Let's see if the fresh outside rubber helps him. Joshua Sexton is still in 4th, catching up to Tanner Marr to put a lap on him. And I'm telling you folks, I'm impressed with Tarasenko running 15.6 pretty much all the time. 123 laps on those tires. We're getting close to being done. And he hasn't put a foot wrong. Russell Brown 7.3 seconds behind. Tarasenko is going to get the white flag here. The final lap, we went green all the way. Jason Tarasenko, very, very consistent run here. Very dominant. Very good job for him. Jason Tarasenko takes the win, folks. And in second place, we have Russell Brown following here, about 8.6 seconds behind. There you have it. Then it's Tyler Johnson, Joshua Sexton into 51, already finished. Tommy Dunn, Tanner Marr, Brandon Mettler, Scotty Stevens in 8th, Kevin Roy in ninth, and Garrett Crow with that late pit stop finishes in 10th position. There you have your winner, folks. Running some donuts here, burning some rubber with an audience behind him of everybody else. There is your winner, Jason Tarasenko. Let's bring up those full results here for you. There you have it. We're going to see if we can find some people to talk to. And let's see. Tyler, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
This was a green all the way. That doesn't happen all that often in this style of racing, sir. It looked like you held off the people behind you pretty good there in the beginning. I believe it was Thomas Dunn that made your life a little bit harder than you wanted it to be, probably. But you hung on to a third position there. Talk us through that. It's not a very eventful race, is it?
Not too eventful, but I know I got that second spot from Russell for a little bit, but I saw him coming up fast. But yeah, Tommy was real fast. I think I just had a better, longer running car than he did.
So was the fuel ever an issue for you guys? Did you have to save fuel, or did you have plenty for this race?
I'd say we had plenty, but about halfway through, I started saving fuel just to be extra careful. But I think I ended up with probably 10 laps left, so it was plenty.
So I mean, you did the whole thing on one set of tires. Obviously, you made that work pretty good. Your lap times at the end even were still pretty consistent and pretty well below the 16-second mark. And even the guys that took tires did not manage to do that all the time. So how did that work for you?
I just building the setup for this track. I figured we'd have probably a long green flags, and I just wanted to set up a car that could actually stay consistent and save the tires. Just stayed easy on it and hope for the best.
So it was basically with preparing for this race, it was basically a mindset of just being prepared for long runs, no greens, and saving the equipment.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right, well, that worked out pretty well for you, Tyler. Third position. You started this race second in the championship. Tarasenko obviously bringing in another strong win, but you're looking pretty good in that championship right now. What are your hopes for the rest of the season?
I'm just trying to hopefully top fives for the rest of the season, top threes. Just don't have any bad races and just stay consistent.
Sounds like a plan. All right, Tyler, thanks very much, man. Any love yous and thank yous you want to throw out there before I let you go?
I thank everybody in this league and Jason and everything, and say I love you to my family and my mom and my dad.
There you go. Thank you very much, Tyler, and congratulations once again, man.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for broadcasting. Appreciate it.
You bet. Russell, you can you hear me?
Sir.
You were the only one that managed to stay on that lead lap with Jason there, and you kept it under 10 seconds the entire race. I believe at the end there you were slipping away a little bit, but you kept it right around that 5-6 second mark there pretty much all the time. Did you have any hopes of closing in?
Not really. I mean, once we got so far and I seen how far JT was, I just started riding. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to catch him unless something disastrous happened, and I really wasn't too much worried about fuel or tires or anything. Just knew that there wasn't no sense to me over driving the car or doing something stupid and bouncing it off the wall and causing myself a lot more time.
I see. I mean, and I will say that when I look at these races, I've been with you guys. This is the sixth race, and I've been with you for this season. It looks to me like most of the drivers that are being lapped are being pretty respectful as far as letting you guys run your race there at the front. What's your take on that?
I completely agree. I mean, all these guys in here, they're real courteous. It's a great league to run in, and everybody respects each other. Think that everybody kind of knows, what their limits are and how their car's handling, and you know, seeing the gap that the guys are closing on them, and just being you know courteous and real respectful, and I appreciate it, and I try to do the same thing, and that's the kind of racing I like.
Absolutely, it makes for great racing, and I guess going green from flag to flag is a testament to all of you guys running together here. On a short track like this. It's easy to go the other way.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I've been in some races before that just were were horrible, but I think everybody in the league here's got good car control, and like I said, good respect for everybody, and I really enjoy it.
Absolutely. So do we, Russell. Once again, man, congratulations on a second place. Well deserved. Very consistent run for you. Any love yous and thank yous you want to throw out?
Yeah, I just got to thank Jason. I mean, he did most of the work on this. I really didn't have time to mess with anything, and he helped me out, and got to thank George 811, Midwest Power Source, Ellen Leduc Matthews Racing. Um, I think I needed about 2, 3 more laps because I heard somebody was getting a little slim on fuel, and I think I had about a half a gallon more than they did. But you know, I mean, maybe we can get him next time.
All right, Russell. All right. Thanks very much, man.
And thank you for the broadcast.
You betcha. Jason Tarasenko, once again, you looked extremely consistent out there. It looked like you had everything pretty well under control. Very consistent lap times. Traffic didn't seem to bother you all that much. How was it for you?
Oh, it was another one of those races of try and stay consistent, keep the car under you, manage a little bit of fuel again, unfortunately. But no, it was good. We were able to kind of run our own pace. Guys are this league is amazing. They have a lot of respectful guys and things like that. I held back a few times, just like guys sort out their own race and things like that. But overall, I'll take it. It was pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. I actually saw you that it got a little crowded there at some point, and but still, everybody was paying attention. It looked like, and you weren't pushing the issue either. So I mean, it just you didn't have to because you were already well ahead anyway. Did you see anything about Joshua Sexton on there on the opening lap? He went around. Was that a relief for you, or was that something that wasn't on your mind?
I didn't see him go around at all, no. And then that middle part, when we kind of got behind that swarm of cars, it was, I think it just is a testament to the quality of racers that we have in this league. It's like that there's respect, but they'll race hard. But they're not beating and banging doors and things like that. So that's a part of what makes this a really good league to run. There's a lot of respect, a lot of give and take, and that's why I like coming back here.
Absolutely, and that makes for good racing. Absolutely, I totally agree with you, Jason. I mean, there's no problems I can ask you about because I mean everything just kind of went really smooth for you, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We managed the tires well. I looked at tire wear at the end looked good. The setup was decent. It was the setup wasn't as good as what I thought it was, just in the fact that we had to pace it a little bit. I wasn't running the car as hard as it, and on this track here, it's like if you're not getting into the suspension and making it work, it's just not the same. So that's a little bit of fuel saving sometimes plays out in how the car handles for you and how the tires wear. So I tried to wick it up a little bit at the end there and started trying different lines just to see what the car would do. But at the same time, I ended up with zero point 0.3 of a gallon left, so we didn't have much left. So I wanted to make sure that we had enough at the end there. That was for sure.
So I mean, is that something the league does on purpose that it's doable on one fuel run, but close?
Actually, it's kind of set up for some tracks that you're going to have to take fuel. So the way that they've got this fuel, I think it's 60% of what it normally would take. So it comes in at about 13 and a half gallons. It's always a factor. You have to be aware of your fuel situation. On a small track like this, little bit of savings, and depending on which gear ratio you take, you got to be aware of it because you might be tight on fuel. So I run a pretty aggressive gear because I like the gear to help slow me down in the corner, and so it definitely played a factor in choosing a little bit more fuel through the race. So, but a lot of the other tracks, like there's no doubt you have to pit. So I kind of like it. It plays in some strategy. Like again, like I say, it also plays in the fact that you're not running the car the way that you have tested for and all that kind of stuff. So your tires wear a little bit different. So then next thing you know, it's not handling the same as what you expect it to do. So it all plays in. I That's another part of why I like this league too.
Absolutely, and this is open setup, right? You guys get to set your own cars up the way exactly you prefer, right?
Absolutely, it's open setup. We can do everything that we want as far as the adjustments in the garage, and it allows us to also, if we do make a pit stop, we can make some changes with the right rear spring. It changes our cross weight. We can change tires, of course, which then we can allow for pressure changes and things like that. But you only get that one set, which at a small track like this, I don't think it was worth pitting. Even I don't even know if I would have pitted if there was if it wasn't green all the way. So definitely a lot of strategy in this league, and it all plays out differently at each track every week. So that's why it's a challenge.
So next time we're going to a track called Southern National Motorsports Park. I'll be really honest with you. I am not one for short track racing myself. I'm more of a road racer. What kind of a track is that? Is Southern National Motorsports Park? Are you familiar with it?
I am, yeah, and it's actually looks very similar to this, other than it's way more banking in the corner, so it's a lot higher speeds. So you're going to see sort of the same sort of racing. A lot of nose to tail. Guy's going to have to make a mistake in order to set up a good pass. Um, you don't want to touch the apron in these cars; it definitely gets them upset. Things like that. So, but yeah, very similar to this track, but much higher banks, much higher speeds.
Okay, so talking about being on the apron, I see you do that. I saw you do that quite a bit here. So obviously the banking is not high enough for it to upset your car.
No, and then in fact, so in my case here tonight, I was tight, so I actually using a little bit of the apron there in order to help turn the car and get it a little bit loose up off the corner is what I was trying to do.
Okay, so when I was riding along with some of you during the race, it's kind of you're not on the gas very long at all in this track. It's basically a spurt off the turn, and then pretty much halfway on that straight, you're already going off to slow down for the next one. So how do you set up a pass without giving away all your secrets? How do you set up a pass?
Well, and that's where it's tough. And again, I was out front, so I didn't have much chances there. But it was one of those things where you need to have a car that rotates the corner very well. It has to get through that corner very well. You're not going to make it past dive bombing a guy or anything like that. So, if there was more cars here tonight, we probably would have seen maybe a second group come in, and you would have seen some guys, being able to run side by side. But you're definitely looking to set up your pass where you get up under a guy off of the corner. You got to get that rotation through the corner and get back to the throttle and get up underneath the guy in order to get that pass complete here.
Okay, I hear you. Well, that's good. Good to hear and good explanation. Because it looks to me like on some of those other tracks, it looks like guys being high off the turn get a little bit better of a run off the turns, which makes it very hard to get underneath them. But I guess here that's a little bit less of an issue then.
The second groove would come in with more cars. I think you would see that a little bit where a guy can roll in on the bottom and get up underneath a guy, but that guy on the top side gets a much better run off and carries more speed down the straightaway, and you can kind of hold a guy off. But that second groove would have to come in, and it's questionable whether or not it would or not, just kind of with the tire model and the dynamic track, the way it's working with iRacing right now. I think they're, and I hope that they're looking at that because it seems like there isn't a lot of second groove coming in where it really should be. Now, in this case here, there wasn't as many cars. If there was, 20 or 30 cars, maybe it would have, but at the same time, it may not have because we had so many cautions. So it's hard to tell.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks very much for the explanation, Jason. Once again, congratulations. I believe this was win number 3 in this season for you, and I'm sure you're going to bring it back to the top of the scoreboard as far as the championship is concerned. Before I let you go, any love yous and thank yous you want to uh, air?
Absolutely. Of course, my wife and kids for giving me the time to do this. Definitely, you guys for doing the broadcast. The guys that put on the league here, and I know Tanner came on board as an admin, so that's huge too. He does a lot. Um, I just want to thank Midwest Power Source, Russell Brown Race Cars, and my team Dynamic Auto Sports. They're all behind me in anything and everything we do. So, yep. No, I really appreciate this league. It's a lot of fun, and I don't really pay attention to the points. I just come out to run and have fun and try and be as fast as I can. I just like the competition.
There you go. Well, we enjoy you being here, man. You're putting on a good show. Maybe tonight was not the best example of the great show as far as battles going on, but still a good race for sure. Thanks very much, Jason.
You bet, man. Thank you. I'm sure you more than glorified it better than what it was.
We try.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. All right, folks, that'll have to do it for tonight. As far as the schedule is concerned, as said, we are going to Southern National Motorsports Park next week. Double check the schedule, please, because it looked to me like there was an error in the dates. We should be going the 19th there, and then the 26th, a week later, we should be going to the next one. It didn't show that correctly, so please double check the schedule for that. We should be racing every Monday night, so again, double check the schedule, please, and check the Facebook page if you can. So, let's take another quick look here. We heard from Jason explaining that next week is a similar track. I haven't been there, to be honest with you. He explained to us it's a similar track. It's got a little bit higher banking, so the speeds are going to be a little bit higher probably. Fuel is therefore obviously also probably going to be more of a factor, but we'll see how that pans out. We'll be happy to take you through all that. Once again, folks, we congratulate Jason Tarasenko on his third win of the season here in the Crooked Line Racing Monday Night Madness Series with the Super Late models. Good finish also for his teammate Russell Brown in the 00 car, and a good third place finish there for Tyler Johnson. You heard him talk about it. He had a bit of a battle with Russell, but ultimately had to settle for a third place. Joshua Sexton, after his early mistake, has brought it through the field. And without yellow flags, I commend him for that, because there was no break for him. There was no lucky dogs or anything like that that would have helped him catch up to the field. He did it all on his own, and he worked his way from 10th, being 6 seconds behind the ninth place driver at that point, and he worked his way through the field all the way to 4th position, albeit with 2 laps down on the leader, but that doesn't matter. The points position is still there, and he's scoring some good points regardless. Then it's newcomer Tommy Dunn with a very respectable 5th place finish here in the number 63 car, also Canadian driver, as is Jason Tarasenko. Then it's Tanner Marr in 6th with a good run, solid run for Tanner. Not maybe the quickest driver on this venue here, but a solid run, no major mistakes. The same is true for 7th place driver Brandon Mettler. And then it's Scotty Stevens in 8th. Scotty started out strong and dropped off a little bit, and then kind of hung on to it. It looked to me like after his pit stop with the fresh tires, he didn't really gain that much, and that is basically time you can't make up. We heard Jason explain that as well, that on this track, pit stops are probably not all that much of a gain. Kevin Roy finishes in 9th position in the 89 car. He was in the back of the pack for most of the race, soldiering on there and not giving up, and that's something I can always appreciate. If you start something, you finish it, and Kevin Roy definitely did that. Garrett Crow, 10th place, had a late pit stop, obviously getting in trouble with his tires probably, and had to play it safe there to bring it home in 10th position. Only 10 drivers that joined in this race, so everybody is scoring some good points in the series. And next week in the Southern National Motorsports Park, we will do it all over again with a little bit higher speeds, as we heard Jason explain. So hopefully we'll see you there, folks. My name is Mark Bruning. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. We hope to see you next week. And until then, be safe and be kind to one another and stay healthy.